Okay, we're live. Okay. So, I don't know if you've ever watched any Pie Man Rules videos, but he's a super smart dude. Makes really great videos. I've seen one of them before where he did a tournament. I don't know if this one's that redone of the one that I've already watched, but regardless, this is still going to be super entertaining because this dude, smart, entertaining, real good. If you haven't ever subscribed to him or watched this video, I highly recommend it. But that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to go ahead and get started into watching his Elo. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me, sir. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Also, I need to make sure that this is the right thing real quick. It's not. Okay, there we go. It's up a bit. Cool. But yeah, we're going to be watching Elo World Redux, scientifically ranking the Pokemon Red Trainers again, level 50 AI tournament.
Video on scientifically ranking the Pokemon Red trainers, I devised a system that let me pit enemy trainers against each other using the actual AI from Pokemon Red. I then ran a giant round-robin tournament of all the trainers and ranked them based on their performance. If you haven't seen the original video, I definitely...
Okay, so that original one is the one I've seen already. And let me just say, this dude's transitions and fucking video effects are clean. They are amazing.
recommend checking it out. While it took a while for the YouTube algorithm to catch on, the reception from actual humans was overwhelmingly positive, for which I'm very grateful. A number of these comments had some quite willful requests, falling into two main categories. The first wanted me to do the entire project again, but this time in Pokemon Gold, Silver, Crystal, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Black, White, Black 2, White 2.
So just gonna name off all the fucking
Omega
games.
Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, Sword, Shield, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, or Legends Arceus.
Jesus Christ. He could have just said all games. He literally could have just said, yeah, they wanted me to do it with every other game, but you know, he was making sure he put the point in there. Also, they spelled Venusaur.
In my methodology, and suggest I run the tournament again with the same combatants in the same game, but fixing any number of issues. Now, I would love to do a tournament in one of the later generations.
Oh, this just looks so good.
Tackle one or more of them someday, but considering how much time and effort went into running the tournament for one game, the second choice seems like perfect low-hanging fruit. So, that's exactly
Get that bread, brother.
I'll fix all the issues with the original tournament, run the whole thing again, and put out a quick follow-up video. It shouldn't take much time at all. Oh God, it's been a whole year!
That's been a year?
What is time? What have I been doing with my life?
Wow.
Oh well, better late than never. Welcome to Elo World Redux, scientifically ranking the Pokemon Red trainers again. By the way,
this just looks so
always,
good.
There are convenient timestamps in the description. If some parts of this video don't interest you, feel free to skip around.
Some parts of this video don't interest you. That's crazy because this dude gets deep into it.
So here's the plan. First, we'll fix all the bugs that I can think of in the original tournament's code. Then, we'll make a number of enhancements that people have suggested. Most notably, we'll be scaling the Pokemon so they're all level 50. The same way competitive Pokemon tournaments are conducted.
I guess that makes it to where, yeah, that does seem a lot better.
Round-robin tournament again and look at the results, but this time with a bit of a twist. Stick around to the end for that. Along the way, we'll talk in more detail about how the tournament was conducted and answer any frequently asked questions. Okay.
How are you so smart? Be my most frequently asked one.
Squashing. The most infamous bug from the original tournament is probably the one that affected Lorelei. The enemy turn counter never increments, which means the AI never gets a chance to prioritize certain moves, which some trainers are supposed to do on the second turn a Pokemon is out. This is an easy enough fix. Simply keep track of the turn count
Lost already.
Pokemon and update the appropriate memory address accordingly. Of course, as I'm writing this script, once again I've realized my folly. I updated the value to be the trainer's turn counter, rather than the Pokemon's. We're really off to a great start here. At least it's still an improvement.
Nice.
And, as I'll soon discuss, this actually shouldn't have a big impact on the final results. Anyway, the next bug is one that I didn't mention in the original video, but eagle-eyed viewers may have spotted. During particularly long battles, those lasting over 30 minutes or so, there would be a...
I'm sorry, what? 30 minutes? I remember him saying something about that, and I like this one in particular, the Audition Ivysaur, but Jesus Christ, I could not imagine. Dude, I have to have that finger on the speed up button in the middle of a rig. If a fucking game I'm doing, I just can't imagine a 30-minute game.
Point where the player just sits there for a while, not selecting any moves. The reason for this is quite technical and has to do with the details of how I implemented the interface with the Game Boy emulator. If you're interested in learning about this in more detail, let me know in the comments, and I may produce a code review video at some other point after this one.
I wouldn't know how to follow that.
In order to tell the emulator when to give control back to my script, I used breakpoints. Whenever the Game Boy CPU's program counter reached certain places in the game's code, for example, the routine that waits for the player to select a move, the emulator would make a save state, and then close, returning control back to my script. I could then do whatever memory fiddling I needed to in Python, before opening the save state in the emulator again. Do you see the problem, though? The problem is that this would just immediately trip the breakpoint again, because the program counter hasn't incremented between saving and loading the state. The solution I devised...
So was it just sitting, like, save state, load in, save state, load in? Was that all it was doing?
Was to use conditional breakpoints, and only break if the value of total clocks, an internal emulator variable that counts the total number of CPU clock cycles since emulation began, is greater than it was when the save state was created. Now, this creates another slightly subtler issue.
I have no idea what any of that means.
The answer is quite simple.
Yeah, simple, obviously.
If a battle went on long enough, total clocks would overflow, rapid
reset
back around to 0,
no
longer being greater than its old value.
So it gets stuck again, right?
About as easy as it gets. Swap out the greater than for a not equals. The last bug we're going to fix is a sneaky one. In the original video, I talked about stopping the player trainer's Pokemon from leveling up in the middle of battle by, quote, hard-coding memory values. Specifically, there's an address in memory which is updated every time a Pokemon switches out. It's a bit field, showing which of the player's Pokemon have faced the current opponent, thus qualifying for experience when it's defeated. My solution was to simply set this back to 0 whenever possible, thus disqualifying any and all Pokemon from gaining experience. Recall
How does that
my
work?
script
Like, as
takes
soon as it
control
beats him, though.
whenever the player needs to select a move, which includes immediately after a Pokemon is first sent out. So, theoretically, this bit field should always be cleared before the trainer has a chance to defeat the enemy Pokemon. Meaning, Pokemon should never gain experience or level up. The logic seems sound, but of course...
I feel like, but like right before the turn switches over, like, does the save state, god damn, that's hard to say, save state switch before the experience happens, and then right before the other Pokemon dies, though?
There's an issue here. The reason requires knowing some subtle Pokemon knowledge, so if you'd like to try to noodle it over yourself, consider pausing the video now.
I already did that.
The problem
I don't think I was right, though.
Pokemon uses Rage.
Oh.
After selecting Rage once...
I wasn't going nowhere with that.
The player's Pokemon will just keep spamming it until they faint, never returning control to my script and never resetting the encounter flag. If they manage to sweep more than one Pokemon using Rage, they'll gain experience and potentially level up. I actually knew about this bug at the time of the original tournament, but I figured it would be a rare enough occurrence that it wasn't worth fixing. As far as I know, it never happened in the original tournament, and even if it did, it wouldn't have affected the results much with just a 1-level difference. However,
Wait, what? Hold on. That says Onyx level 53. Onyx grew to level
due to the
50.
way I implemented
Something ain't right
level
here.
flattening in this new tournament, gaining levels is much more troublesome. So, to fix this issue, I used a cheat code. Rather than resetting the encounter flag in my Python code,
Just
I had
reset the
emulator
level?
do it by running what basically amounts to a Game Shark code, locking the encounter flag to 0 all the time.
Okay.
So, those are the bugs I've more or less fixed, but there are also some bugs I'm tagging as won't fix. These all have to do with differences in how the game treats player trainers versus enemy trainers. Specifically, that enemies can waste a turn using pointless healing items, the way the priority system works, and the fact that status moves used by the enemy always have a 25% chance of failing. The first two I mentioned in my original video, but the third one was actually news to me. Thanks, YouTube commenters. Anyway, I could try to fix these issues, but I've come up with the lazier solution instead.
Pretty big percentage, honestly.
The tournament in the form of a double round robin, where each trainer faces every other trainer twice, once in the player's position and once in the enemy's. Of course, this isn't a perfectly fair system, but it should be reasonably
more smoothed
fair
out,
for
at
the
least.
purposes of our little tournament. Incidentally, this brings to mind a common question from the comments of the original video. When looking at the results, why do trainers have different win-loss draw totals? And why...
Oh, win-loss. Okay, so 20575. God damn. Could you imagine losing 575 battles? Couldn't. Oh wait, total battles 577, 440. Yeah, that is a big question, I guess, to ask.
Are some so disproportionately higher? This is an artifact of the way I orchestrated the battles. Originally, when designing the system, I figured there would be too many matchups to do a true round-robin tournament in any reasonable length of time, so instead, I paired trainers up randomly. Not everyone would fight.
I feel like there'd still be a good, like,
the Halo system would still be able
go
to
by percentage though, right?
Accurate ratings. Eventually, though, I decided to speed up the battles by not saving a video for each one. This allowed me to do a full round-robin tournament, but left some trainers with slightly more battles than others from when they were done randomly. Even then, after running the entire tournament, I discovered a pretty serious bug. Battles against the rival would automatically trigger a cutscene at the end of battle, which interfered with the part of my code that detected who the winner was. This meant I had to rerun all the battles where the rival was the enemy trainer. My lazy solution to this was to just rerun every battle against the rival and delete the old ones that were invalid. The end result is that the rival has a disproportionately large number of battles, which you can see
that makes way more sense.
Draw counts.
Because it's so many more battles.
This means that the rival ended up being disproportionately affected by the Halo system. After all, Halo adds and removes points after every battle, so a trainer who partook in many more battles will have more chances for their score to swing. This might not matter much if they're a rather middling trainer. The ups and downs should mostly cancel out, but for trainers who are the strongest,
2 to 575,
rival, weakest, losing consistently can have a compounding effect. Fortunately, this won't be an issue in the new tournament, because each trainer should have the exact same number of battles to their name. With all the bugs accounted for, let's talk about some of the enhancements that will make the second tournament even better than the first. As I alluded to before, one issue with the original tournament was that it was too time-consuming to
how much fucking space does he have?
Battle. So for most of them, I just kept a record of the moves used and the outcome in a JSON file. However, this meant when it came to
JSON file stands for JavaScript Object Notation. Obviously. I looked that up for everyone who did not know that, so you're welcome.
Time to edit together the YouTube video for the project. Whenever I needed a video example for a particular battle, I would basically have to run the battles over and over again until I got an outcome that matched approximately what happened in the original tournament.
You'd figured he'd be able to like code a battle for it to go through and just play the same thing.
There's an easy solution to this. Simply make the battles deterministic.
Oh,
we can trivially do this by seeding Python's random number generator with a predetermined value, then saving that value as part of the results. By also encoding the combatants, I can generate a single identifier that lets me recreate any of the 150,000 odd battles from the original tournament perfectly. And in fact,
150,000.
you can too.
What the fuck?
Whenever I show or even mention a particular battle in this video, I'll also display that battle's unique identifier. In the description for this video, you can find a link that will tell you how to download the code you need to run the tournament and enter the battle ID in order to watch any battle in full on your own.
Jesus
I could have
Christ.
used a simple identification system like this, which plainly displays the information it contains, but I decided to go with the more obfuscated hash ID based system because the aesthetic reminds me of Wonder Mail codes from the Mystery Dungeon games.
Wow.
Don't they just feel so mysterious?
God.
What secrets lie?
Oh my God.
Codes. Anyway,
Thank you.
now let's talk about the biggest change for this tournament: level flattening. A common criticism of the original video was that, despite being called an AI tournament, I wasn't actually judging the quality of the AI, since performance in the tournament was so tightly correlated to overall team level. Personally, I disagree with this assessment. In calling the project an
I mean, to be fair, it is like the AI. Like, you're not gonna go up to the first AI and be like, but what if he had a level 50 Squirtle? How would this battle go then?
AI tournament, I didn't necessarily mean AI in the sense of the actual logic that decides trainer actions. Instead, I meant it in the more colloquial sense, as in an AI or CPU opponent. You might instead opt to call it an NPC tournament, but that doesn't have quite the same level of SEO. My goal is quite straightforward.
Ain't
See
wrong.
how all the NPC trainers in Pokemon Red would fare if you plucked them straight out of the game and had them fight each other. Still though, the idea of
Hey, look. He's watching his own video. Fucking Mikey pops up right here. That's funny.
flattening the Pokemon
Watching this
levels
dude's
is an
video.
intriguing one, and it's definitely in line with the way real competitive Pokemon tournaments are run. So, I decided to implement it. From a technical standpoint, this was actually a bit trickier than you'd think. The most straightforward implementation would be to create a ROM hack in which all trainer parties are modified to have level 50 Pokemon. The problem with this solution is that in Generation 1, trainer party data doesn't encode moveset. It's
Really?
instead determined by level, with a few trainers having certain special moves encoded as well. If we tried just setting all Pokemon to level 50, they'd have the moves they would have at level 50 as well. Now, some people might consider this to be a desirable outcome. After
No.
all, it would further level the playing field, letting us more directly compare AI. However,
that sounds
I still
unfun.
consider moveset to be an important element of team composition, and team composition is central to competitive Pokemon strategy. Thus, it was important to find a way to let the Pokemon keep their original moveset. A tempting solution is to create a cheat code like before that hard codes all memory values
You
related
could just
to
put
level,
cheats in?
except when determining moveset. This would work, but level determines a lot of things in the game, even in battle. And while I can think of some of them, like the damage output of Seismic Toss, it's possible I might miss something. Therefore, I would prefer
That's
to have Pokemon
really neat.
that are legitimately level 50, rather than faking it. The solution I ended up implementing was a two-step approach. First, we use a cheat code to set all Pokemon to level 50. This means the battle will start with the Pokemon actually at level 50, with all the right stats and moves of a level 50 Pokemon.
That sounds
Then,
good right there
with a
then. Oh,
separate
no.
set of
Yeah.
emulators, we load up what the movesets should be with the Pokemon at their original
Forgot.
level.
I looked over and I
Then,
was like,
it's a
yeah, that makes sense. Charmander should have Flamethrower and Fire Spin at level 5.
relatively simple matter of swapping those movesets in before either trainer chooses a move. The end result is two parties of Pokemon, all legitimately set to level 50, but with their original movesets. Exactly what we're after. So, those are the enhancements as it pertains to the game itself. Now, let's talk about the ALO system. There were a number of issues brought up with how ALO was used in the original video, but let's start with pronunciation. Now, I wasn't surprised by how many people commented about my pronunciation of the word. What I was surprised about, however, was how confident people seem to be in their own pronunciation of the word. It's pronounced ELO. But, how do you actually know that?
Look, okay, I say Elo. I'm not gonna like give him shit for saying Alo, but like I first heard it when I was watching someone play Mario Kart like 6 or 7 years ago. So that's how it stuck with me. And it's just like a big E right there. Those are my two things about it. You know, if you want to say Alo, man, you say Alo. I'm not gonna make a comment about it like Tom
I do
7.
normally pronounce the word as ELO, but then the excellent pun of Alo World doesn't really work as well. In Tom 7's original Alo World video, he pronounces it Elo, which definitely makes the Elo World pun work a lot better, but I just don't like the way that sounds. So, my compromise was to try to stick as close to the original Hungarian pronunciation as my American tongue could muster. Arpad Elu. I think Alo is a pretty reasonable anglicization of that name, so no one should be able to complain. Right? Ugh. Regardless, there are more valid criticisms of my use of the Alo scale. First, as mentioned in the original video, there's still the fact that the order of matchups matters. While the order was essentially random,
bad seeds, right?
we still had a chance of favoring one trainer over another. Another issue is that trainers who partake in more battles have more chances to have their score adjusted and might end up getting an unfair advantage or disadvantage, although we have already addressed that for this tournament. On the other hand, there are nice features of the Alo scale, reasons to use it over something simpler like win count. First, Alo punishes inconsistency. Otherwise strong trainers who lose against underdogs deserve to be punished for their folly.
That is true. If you have a motherfucker who's like blue with his Blastoise and fucking whatever else he has loose to blue with just the Squirtle, then yeah, he deserves to lose more points for that.
Properly deals with draws. Trainers like Lorelei deserve to be punished for stalling out matches that by all accounts they should be able to win.
Honestly,
Likewise,
it's super fair too.
Underdogs get rewarded for avoiding a loss by playing towards a draw, which is desirable. Lastly, Alo is nice simply for giving us a number to sort by. A win-loss-draw three-way ratio doesn't really lend itself well to being sorted by after all. So how do we fix the issues with the Alo scale? Well, first, let's talk about how Alo actually works. Aesthetically, Alo looks quite nice. You get a simple number that goes up when you win. A reasonable interpretation of what
it does look pretty simple and make my brain go like, ooh, number bigger.
Mathematical meaning. To explore that, we'll need to enter the realm of
hardcore math.
Oh my god.
The Alo scale is designed such that the difference in score between two competitors represents the log odds of the favored player winning. Long story short, this means you can take two competitors in a tournament, find the absolute difference in their Alo, then reverse the logistic function to calculate the probability of the higher Alo winning the matchup. This is the desired end result of an Alo score, but how do we get there? In mathematical terms, Alo is what's called an online system. That is, it's designed to take in new data over time and refine its estimation. It accomplishes its goal by adding and removing a certain number of points from each player proportional to the loser's chance of winning the encounter, following this formula. The K value in the formula influences how much the score changes after each match, while the scale of the logistic function, set to 400 in the standard Alo system,
standard
point scale. The online nature of Alo makes it well suited for keeping up with the change in the player's performance over time, but as mentioned in the original
why'd that make him lose 16? What?
Scale. The online nature of Alo makes it well suited for keeping up with the change in the player's performance.
That seems like a lot more that should be taken out.
Over time.
But I'm not the mathematic genius here.
It doesn't really make sense when you have static AI and a predetermined list of battles and outcomes. Doesn't it make sense that there should be some mathematical model that achieves the same outcomes as the Alo system, that is, producing a set of scores whose relative differences represent log odds of winning, but that is able to process the entire set of data as a whole? As it turns out, logistic regression is exactly the tool we need.
Yes.
A logistic model is designed to take some number of continuous, or in this case, discrete, inputs and return a probability of some outcome. For example, you might feed it measurements about an animal, and
They said snout and booty. It's like, what are you into, man?
The animal being a dog versus a cat. Logistic regression is the process of estimating the coefficients of the logistic model, which are multiplied by the inputs and passed to a logistic function to determine the results. Basically, you can think of these coefficients as representing the extent to which each input parameter
I know I said earlier,
affects the output of the
don't
model.
want to skip, but the maths.
There's one final thing to
The
talk
math's
about
making
before
me
we get to the
sleepy.
ranking, and that's the new system I put together for orchestrating battles. Doing a double round robin meant I had basically twice as many battles to run this time around.
Say
I thought
300,000.
that my fancy new overkill computer would be able to slice through
Ooh, whoa, where's
a
the
fraction of the time of my old one, but actually
got a 3080 in this mother? $700. I actually think that's a pretty damn good price. God damn. How you doing, Ember? How you doing? Oh man, 32 gigs. Look at this. I'm more interested in this dude's computer now. He's got a fucking 4 terabyte SSD. That motherfucker. Oh, and a 2 terabyte NVMe.
there's some bottleneck
Nice.
in my system that causes it to not scale that well past a half dozen threads or so. And no, Python nerds, it's not the GIL. This bottleneck happens even across separate processes. My guess is that it's some sort of I/O bottleneck at the OS level. CPU usage doesn't get very high, but running on a faster SSD or even a RAM disk doesn't improve performance.
Your
I would
GPU's
have liked
fucked.
to run the tournament on
Fucked, it
Linux,
looks like.
which would probably be less likely to have such bottlenecks, but the emulator I'm using, BGB, is a Windows executable, so trying to run in Linux would incur the extra startup latency introduced by Wine. So anyway, while I would have loved to spend hours or perhaps even days troubleshooting my code to try and eliminate that bottleneck, as it turns out, the more expedient solution was to simply brute force the problem using distributed computing. In about an hour or so, I was able to whip together a command server that could issue
Okay, looks like we're skipping another part. Okay. I'm like interested. Like I want to know about it, but right now my brain's just like, look, man, you can't. You got 4 hours of sleep last night. You've edited a day. You've streamed earlier. You just we gotta get to the meat. We can't take this.
Anyway, at last, it's time to
Yeah,
start the
ranking of the trainers. Let's
Trainer
go.
cards this time around are pretty similar to last
Ooh,
time.
this looks cleaner. I like this a lot more. This looks way cleaner. The other ones look good too. Be
The
real.
only two major differences to point out are that they now include the change in ranking from the previous tournament, as well as hash
Oh.
IDs for the greatest upsets.
Oh,
in case you
I
want to
like
watch
that.
those battles yourself.
Oh, this
Starting
just
at the
looks so
very
fucking
bottom of F
good.
tier, with a mere 443 A.
Could be with the blue battle, right?
Not the first rival battle as before.
Oh,
but
really?
Instead, Fisher number 11, whose team consists entirely of 2 Magikarp. Although they do know tackle, it's not enough to help Fisher number 11.
Went
who
down
ended up
18
winning only
points.
11 battles in the entire tournament. Passing by a number of unremarkable bug catchers.
God, this just
in
looks so
B-
fucking
here we
good.
find our first major upset in the rankings.
The scientist?
Our good old friend Juggler number 5.
Go
from
the
Victory
juggler.
Road.
Excuse me.
You know the one with the single Mr. Mime that only knows double slap.
He had 752 losses. Wait, he only knew double slap. What?
In the
Excuse
original
me?
tournament, he was able to coast on the fact that his Mr. Mime was level 48, but that's no longer an advantage with the levels flattened, losing
Oh.
Juggler number 5 166 spots
Wait, he lost to a fucking bug catcher? Wow. Wow.
in the ranking. Pretty quickly, though, we do reach the first rival battle. This time, it's the Bulbasaur in the lead. Probably again because of Bulbasaur's
Also lost to
dual
a bug
typing,
catcher.
earning himself a spot in D tier.
Let's go, though. D's pretty...
Immediately after
I'd be
that,
fine with
we
D.
find a rather curious trainer, Fisher number 9.
The 6
The side effect
Magikarp.
of flattening the levels is that, where in the original tournament, ranking correlated quite nicely with average level, now it correlates with party size.
Okay.
Generally speaking,
Makes more
the
sense.
more Pokemon you have, the better you do in the ranking. As we make
better you do in the ranking. We look up 3 more, we see a kid with just a Nidoran, and then a kid with, or a dude with just a Pikachu, and then another kid with just a fucking Sparrow.
Make our way through the list, I'll be pointing out some exceptions that prove the rule, like Fisher number 9 here, who is the lowest ranked trainer with a full team of 6.
I mean, it's
In
still pretty
fact,
impressive with
he's
6
one of
Magikarp.
only 3 battles in the entire game against full teams of 6, the other 2 both being rival battles. Like his compatriot in F tier, the all Magikarp strategy proves ineffective.
Better than some, though. Where are the other 2 rival battles at? Starting ones.
Black Belt number 4 in D+ tier is another big mover, together with his single
You went
primate,
down
losing
144? Holy shit. Oh, wow. Damn, that is such a big drop off. I know the dude right in front of him went down 81, but that's almost doubled how much he dropped. Wow.
144 spots in the ranking.
That's fucked
That's not as
up.
bad as Black Belt number 7.
218?
216 with his lone Machoke.
Holy
Second set
shit.
of rival encounters are a bit spread out. We just passed the Charmander rival, and the Squirtle rival is right here, but the Bulbasaur is a little ways to go.
Wait, how did the Bulbasaur end up getting a little higher up? Even though he was the worst in the front one.
Oh,
There he is. Went up 79. Wow. Okay. So, which is weird. The Bulbasaur one lost to a hiker. He was ranked number 800. But he beat 35. That's really damn good.
In C tier, we find perhaps the saddest trainer of the entire tournament.
Is it the dude in the
Gentleman
cave?
number 4, standing alone with his trusty
He dropped
primate,
224
lost more
points.
places in the
Jesus
rankings
Christ.
than any other trainer.
224. But hey, he did beat this A tier. A plus. So you gotta give him that. He did beat an A plus spot. That is good. Although he did get fucked over by a D tier.
Dropping by 224 places.
That's just crazy though. That's so far down.
Not long after, we find
Brock!
the first gym leader, Brock, who's gained a respectable 81 places.
That's
in the
pretty damn
ranking.
good. I'm not gonna
It makes
lie.
sense that early gym leaders like Brock would gain a boost in the ranking. They have access to the special AI routines associated with unique training.
His name just says somewhere Brock. You couldn't have put Pewter City Brock and just say somewhere Brock. That's hilarious.
Granting them the ability to use items, and their Pokemon have special moves that other Pokemon of the same level wouldn't have.
That is fair.
Without being restricted by their low levels, Brock's Pokemon finally get a chance to shine.
Wonder if Misty's is gonna have the
Unfortunately for him,
two.
though, he does still only have 2 of them, so at the bottom of the gym leader ranking.
You know what? Good for him though. He went up
Also
80.
in C tier, we find junior trainer female number 11, who took part in the 3rd longest battle in the tournament against Erica of all
How
people.
long was it?
While I did find that there tended to be longer battles this time around by virtue of the fact that most Pokemon had more HP to work with, there were actually no endless battles like last time. The
See,
1,000
Erica's in
turn
A.
limit from the original tournament never kicked in for any battles.
Where are we seeing Misty at? When she's coming up.
In C+ tier is Rocket number 2, notable for being the first trainer to gain more than 100
Holy
places in the
shit.
ranking. His
These,
team
all 3 of these right here. He got 111. He got 93. He got 81. They all went up good. But oh, that sailor up there. He beat Koga.
has 3 Pokemon, Sandshrew, Rattata, and Zubat, which were only level 11 in the original tournament, but now are able to make a good showing with a relatively
Sheesh.
diverse team composition.
They went up a lot. I wonder how
In
low the
B-
Elite
minus
Four
tier,
is going
we
to
find
be.
swimmer number 11, who lost in the 3rd greatest upset of the tournament against bug catcher number 3,
Really?
second lowest trainer in the ranking.
Dude,
In the
that's
original
embarrassing.
tournament, the bug catcher's Weedle would have been level 9, but now powered up to level 50, it's able to defeat much more impressive foes. Even then, it took some luck.
I mean,
The
honestly,
swimmer's
if it gets the
first
poison.
Horsey nearly takes out the Weedle, but instead of dealing the final blow, it spammed a bunch of non-damaging moves
Wow.
to no avail. The swimmer's
Just
second
went
and third Horsey,
Leered.
as well as their Seadra, all do nothing but spam agility, while the Weedle slowly chips away at them with poison damage.
Let's go, Weedle.
At the bottom of B tier, we find the lowest ranking Cerulean City rival, the one with a Charmander. But
Went up
once again, it will be a
104.
while before we
Whoa,
see
that hiker went up 151. He's just gonna skip over that guy.
channelers number 1, 2, 4, 5, 6.
Oh shit, I went the wrong way. Or I accidentally hit something, I think.
Last time. The 1000
Oh no, I went the wrong. I fucked up. Okay.
number.
Shut up.
The original
Shut up.
the first second Weedle slowly chips away at them with poison damage.
Where's this? Okay.
At the bottom of B tier,
Where's this dude
we
at?
find the lowest ranking Cerulean
There, he's 151. So he lost a junior trainer, but he beat the A+ one. He went up 151 though. Can you imagine?
City
In
rival,
that
the one
revenge?
with the Charmander. But once again, it will be a while before we see the others. Perhaps more interestingly though, B tier is also home to channelers number 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 20, and 21. With the level
B tier was the
balancing system in
Chandler's
place,
home.
These 15 trainers are all now exactly identical, having a party consisting of a single, now level 50 Ghastly. It's a
Oh.
testament to the soundness of the ranking system that these 15 identical
Okay, that makes
trainers
so much
all
sense.
place within 25 ranks. The only outlier being Channeler number 8, who we'll just say got lucky today. Channeler number 2 also gets the honor of having partaken in the second longest battle of the tournament, against Beauty number 1 in B+ tier. There's nothing particularly notable about this battle. The Beauty was merely able to stall it out by using annoying moves like Wrap, which ends up dealing basically no damage, and Stun Spore. Even
Wow.
when the Ghastly is able to attack, it also deals very little damage. Fortunately, the
wonderful.
Bellsprout wasn't able to heal itself, so this battle ended in due time.
Could you imagine if it had been able to heal itself though?
Anyway, in between all those channelers,
Oh, there we
lies the
go.
Squirtle rival, with still
Went up
no
129. Damn, we went up
Inside.
high.
But then there's Beauty number 14, who brings us the longest battle of this tournament, against swimmer number 11 from back in B-. Again, there's nothing particularly notable about this battle. It's just a case of both trainers using stall tactics, with moves like
So
Leer,
gross.
Smokescreen, Harden,
Ugh,
and worst
God.
of all, Recover. Combine that with the fact that the swimmer has 4 Pokemon in their party, all with the same set of stalling moves, and the Beauty
No.
has to fight for over 50 minutes to secure her victory.
50 minutes. Could you imagine having to sit in a single fucking match for 50 minutes? Wow.
Around here, we also find Birdkeeper number 2, who is the lowest ranking trainer to have a team of exactly 5 Pokemon, 2 Pidgey and 3 Spearow.
Would have been way higher if he had 5 Spearow and no Pidgey. Just saying that right here.
I suppose they skipped the trainer school lesson on type coverage.
Oh,
Finally, rounding out B tier is the Bulbasaur rival, maintaining its lead in the rankings.
let's go. Up 142. So many of these are up
Near
way
the start
more.
of B+, we find
Lieutenant Surge.
He's gained a respectable 62 places in the ranking, but at the cost of now ranking below Misty. Also in B+ tier, we find Hiker number 3, who's gone up a remarkable 191 places.
What the
more than
fuck?
any other trainer. His party has 4 Pokemon,
My,
all
my dude must be so fucking happy. Bro, that smile on his face is not fake. He went up nearly 200 rankings. Holy shit.
originally level 13, 3 of which are Geodude. Another fun fact about Hiker number 3 is that he partook in the 4th longest battle of the tournament. His opponent was himself. Watching the video, it's pretty clear what made this battle last for over 30 minutes.
Oh my
By the
god.
way, since people asked last time, self-battles don't affect the ranking. They're just for fun. After that,
You just
we
want to do
find
that for fun?
Pokemaniac number 3, who lost in the second greatest upset of the tournament against Beauty number 3 from back in D- tier.
Holy
As you can
shit.
see, the Pokemaniac's team of Slowpoke fall one by one to an endless barrage of barrage from the Beauty's Execute. We also find the first exception that proves the rule from the other end.
Oh, he's got
Juggler
one
number
Hypno.
7, here in B+ tier with his lone Hypno, is the highest ranking
God,
trainer
that's
with
creepy.
only a single Pokemon in their party. All trainers from here on will have at least 2. Next up is Misty. who's gained
Misty.
a very impressive 139
139.
places.
Oh my. Actually, your thing says 139 places, so you lied to me on one of them?
Followed by an even more embarrassing trainer than the Pokemaniac, Cool Trainer female number 6.
Really?
Managed to lose against the very first rival encounter of the game.
What?
The Bulbasaur rival from D tier.
Wait, she lost to the Bulbasaur
This
one?
is the greatest upset in the entire tournament.
How the fuck did she lose to the
It's
Bulbasaur
rival's
one, not the
Bulbasaur
Charmander one?
against the Cool Trainers Ivysaur and Venusaur. The Cool Trainer falls into the classic Bulbasaur trap. She tries to spam Poison Powder
Oh, that's
because
why.
Poison is super effective against grass. But
Okay.
since Bulbasaur is also part
Okay.
Poison type, the move does nothing. The rival is then able to slowly chip away at its evolution's HP with Tackle, securing the victory.
Wow, that's crazy. Get to the A- here. Ooh, so... Is that Giovanni?
In A tier, we find Bruno
He's gonna skip past Giovanni like that? Excuse me?
of the Elite Four. Definitely out of place considering we've only seen 3 gym leaders so far.
There's
Nevertheless,
Koga.
shortly after we find Erika and Koga, all nicely sorted for us.
Oh, that's cute. Oh, they got the same ranking too. Oh, well, I see who's up front down there. Got green with 2456 elo. I'm pretty sure that's probably the highest.
We also find the lowest ranking SSN and Pokemon Tower rivals, Charmeleon and Wartortle respectively.
Wow.
We also find our last so-called exception that proves the rule, Channeler number 22, who holds the honor of being the highest ranked trainer with only 2 Pokemon in their party.
That's pretty damn good.
3 or more from here on out. Then we find the other 2 SSN rivals, Ivysaur leading the pack as usual, followed by Blaine. Sabrina,
Blaine
like before,
went down.
is not taking her proper place in the gym leader rankings. Rounding out A+ tier, there's
Giovanni.
the gym battle against Giovanni and Lorelei, who actually managed to gain 31 places this
Good for
time
her.
around. Of course, she's still just as prone to drawing out battles with rest as she ever
She
was.
beat Professor
I have a
Oak's team.
sneaking feeling that my new Alo system is a little too forgiving of her cowardly tactics.
Yeah, he beat Professor
Anyway,
Oak.
finally in S tier, we see the last 2 Pokemon Tower rivals, with Charmeleon actually beating out Ivysaur for the
Go
first time.
Charmeleon, getting you
Which
a
brings
fat
us
dub
at
here.
last to the top 16.
All right.
So, before we get to the
We got Karen, we got Green, we got Lance, we got Professor Oak, and then just a bunch of Professor Oaks and Blues that I see back there.
top 16, I want to address one comment that I got a few times on the original video, which is that my AI tournament isn't actually a tournament. That is, of course, nonsense. Round-robin tournaments are absolutely tournaments. However, I can understand the concern. These people probably didn't want a big list of win-loss draw ratios, but rather the nail-biting excitement of one-on-one battles played out in a bracket. So, hey, why not? Rather than going
Did he do that
through
with the top
rather
16?
predictable top 16 in order, let's instead use the results from our round-robin tournament.
Is he gonna seed him? Oh, hell yeah, that's pretty cool.
Sweet 16 bracket. The winner of that tournament will be crowned the true strongest trainer in all of
My man's
Pokemon
making
Red
like
and
some of the
Blue.
coolest
The
compromises for
list
these
of
people.
competitors is pretty much what you would expect. There's all 3 Professor Oaks, 9 rivals, Agatha and Lance from the Elite Four, and Sabrina. The only surprise contender is Juggler number 2 from Victory Road.
We just got a single
We'll have to
juggler in
see
here.
how they fare. The first match is between the 1-seed champion rival, the one with the Charizard, and the 16-seed Sabrina.
Let's go, Sabrina.
Pidgeot takes out Sabrina's Kadabra.
Sabrina, I believe in you. You got this.
And, after some back and forth with mirror moves, Mr. Mime as well. Venomoth falls almost immediately.
Jesus
leaving Sabrina
Christ.
with just her Alakazam.
To be fair, though, Alakazam is strong as
takes
fuck.
down Pidgeot, and the champion sends out his own Alakazam in response.
Oh, well, this is
Sabrina
over.
Then spends the next 9 minutes spamming Recover.
Sabrina,
and nothing
why?
else.
We had
This
such high hopes for
behavior
you.
perplexed me for a while, to the point that I thought there might actually be a bug in my code. However, I think I can explain it. As I mentioned in the original video, the third move selection criteria used by smart trainers like Sabrina will prioritize super effective moves. Alakazam, of course, has none. It has 3 Psychic type moves and Recover, which is normal. However, it will also deprioritize moves that are not very effective, so long as an alternate acceptable move is available. Acceptable moves in this context are, generally speaking, damaging moves of a different type. In other words, Sabrina wants to deprioritize all of Alakazam's psychic moves, but she
that's
needs
so
to find an
lame.
acceptable alternative first.
Only thing is Recover.
Doesn't qualify because it's not a damaging move. But Psywave does, because it has a special damage calculation. As far as I can tell, Psywave even counts as an acceptable alternative move for itself, meaning
Ow.
Sabrina is successfully able to deprioritize all of Alakazam's moves except for Recover, leaving it as the only option.
Dude, that sucks so fucking
Psywave
bad.
is a move
It'd
that's
been so
unique to
cool if she would've took
Sabrina's
out the top
Alakazam,
seed.
so the champions doesn't run into this issue, and is able to finish off Sabrina with a lucky 1-2 punch.
That scared the shit out of me.
Next
Oh my
battle.
god. That noise. Almost had a fucking heart attack. Jesus Christ. Woo.
Is the 8-9 game between 2 of the Silph Co rivals, the ones with Charizard and Venusaur.
Oh, I mean, it seems like easy
Their
win for
Pidgeot
Venusaur.
take
I mean,
each other
Charizard,
down.
right?
The Venusaur rivals Gyarados takes out the Charizard's Execute, only for it and Growlithe to fall to the Charizard rivals Gyarados.
Oh. Way to go,
Alakazam
Gyarados?
takes down Gyarados. And the Charizard rival sends out... Oh god,
No.
is this entire tournament just going to be Alakazam Dittos?
Why does everyone have Alakazam?
These Alakazam don't spam Recover quite as much as Sabrina does, but this match does last for about 10 more minutes, before the Charizard rival finally gets his sweep. We never even see his Charizard.
Yeah, almost got me again.
Next up, Professor Oak with a Blastoise against the remaining Silph Co rival, who also has a Blastoise.
Ooh,
After
Blastoise boys.
stalling for a while, Oak's Tauros takes down the rival's Pidgeot in a single attack, only to fall to Growlithe.
That's kind of sad, Oak.
Growlithe falls to Executor, but not before taking out a big chunk of its health. The rival follows it up with Execute, who simply doesn't have the moves to be able to finish off the
I mean,
Executor.
you know what? Just go ahead and get it out of the way, I
Alakazam
guess, right?
finishes the job, only to quickly
Wow.
fall to Oak's Arcanine.
That did so much
Blastoise
damage to him.
makes short work of the dog, leaving us with the Blastoise Ditto.
Uh-oh.
Even with the health advantage, though, Oak's Blastoise manages to lose the fight. But with another Pokemon, his Gyarados, up his sleeve,
Honestly,
Oak is able to clinch the victory.
that
Next is
Blue's
Oak with the
Blastoise
Venusaur
did a
against
lot
the
better than I
Victory
thought it
Road
would there.
rival with a Blastoise. As you might expect, this battle plays out nearly identically, with the only major difference being the rival's introduction of a Rhyhorn in the middle, and at the end, when Oak's Venusaur easily defeats the rival's Blastoise. After that comes the champion with a Blastoise against our surprise competitor, Juggler number 2.
Let's go, Juggler.
His team consists of a Drowsy, Hypno...
I know you're not going to
and
win it because of that stupid fucking
recall from the
Alakazam,
original
but
video, the jugglers in Pokemon Red employ the rather interesting strategy of switching out their Pokemon every turn with a 50% probability. Switching, for example, to make up for a type advantage.
Let's go, we got a
would,
crit.
Of course, be an excellent strategy. in
he
competitive
disabled. Oh, he
Pokemon.
should have disabled
But, of
Recover
course,
from
the
what they did.
jugglers employ no such forethought when it comes to their tactics. They merely switch out to the next available Pokemon, regardless of its or the opponent's types. This tactic basically gives the opponent free moves without
Dude,
much
boy,
benefit
yeah,
to the
okay, I was
juggler.
about to say, Jesus,
This,
just
combined
poison
with the fact that
gas
the
it.
champion has 2 more Pokemon as compared to the juggler, makes it clear that the 15 seed juggler never really had a chance of winning this matchup against the 2 seed, but it's still fun to watch them try.
Aw, man.
Watch the Pokemon switch in and out.
I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for the rival having Alakazam, I think they would not be as high, honestly.
Oh, the Hypno died. The juggler actually holds his own for a while, lasting for over 8 minutes and taking out 3 of the
Let's
champion's
go.
Pokemon. But unfortunately, he is simply no match.
Sorry, juggler.
Next, we have the Victory Road rival with a Venusaur against the Oak with a Charizard.
Oak's gonna
This
lose.
is a pretty familiar battle, but surprisingly, the Venusaur was actually able to take down the Charizard, only to fall to Gyarados with a single Hyper Beam.
Never mind. I don't know. It
After
seems
that,
whoever we
comes
watch
the
loses.
3-seed Venusaur champion against Agatha, the Ghost-type Elite Four member, and a 14 seed. Agatha's
Is this just gonna be?
Gengar and the champion
Is this still just gonna
Pidgeot
be
trade
fucking
blows for a while,
Blue versus
and the Gengar confuses the Pidgeot. But as Pidgeot
Blue versus
charges up a Sky Attack,
Oak?
Agatha switches in Golbat. Both Pokemon end up confused before Agatha makes the brilliant decision to use Haze, thus curing both Pokemon of their confusion. She follows this up by switching the heavily damaged Gengar back in.
What
Which,
the fuck?
Of course, she could have done 1 turn ago, alleviating the confusion for herself without curing it for Pidgeot, but, well, there's no point criticizing the
My
game's AI
God.
at this point. We've all seen much worse.
My
It
God.
kind of pays off for her, as she's just barely able to take out the Pidgeot. This success doesn't last long, though, as the champion's Alakazam is able to decisively sweep her entire
Jesus. I
team.
mean, dude, that
With
fucking
Poison being used to
Alakazam.
Psychic
That just seems to
and
be so
Ghost
crazy.
having no effect against Psychic in Gen 1, Agatha really didn't
That's just
stand
fucked.
a chance. Lastly, in round 1, we have the Victory Road rival with the Charizard against Lance, the
Come on,
Dragon type.
Lance, you're our only hope here.
This battle ended up being the shortest of the entire tournament, at just 3 minutes and 46 seconds. Lance's Gyarados sweeps most of the rival's team before falling to Alakazam, who also takes out Lance's first Dragonair. The second Dragonair finishes off Alakazam before losing to Charizard, but then Lance's Aerodactyl just barely manages to finish the job, earning him the victory.
Let's go. It's not
On to
all
round
Oak.
2. There's going to be a
and
lot of similar
green.
battles in this round, so we won't dwell on these for too long. First up is the 1-seed Charizard champion against his past self. No surprise how this one turned out.
Yeah, no
After
shit.
that comes Oak with a Blastoise against Oak with a Venusaur. This one goes exactly how the type matchup implies it should.
Damn,
Next
Blastoise is
the
out.
Blastoise champion against Oak with the Charizard. Oak actually manages to win this one for a
What?
spot in the final 4.
How?
Lastly, we have the Venusaur champion against Lance. Props to Lance for making it this far, but I'm afraid there's a reason
my
he's
God.
not the Pokemon League champion, and
Because of the
unfortunately,
Alakazam.
not the champion
That's
of
all
this
it
tournament
is.
Either. Our final 4 ends up being 2 similar matchups. The Charizard champion against Oak with a Venusaur, and the Venusaur champion against Oak with a Charizard.
Is this gonna be Charizard,
These two
Charizard?
similar matchups actually end in the same way, against the way the type matchup
What?
would lead you to believe.
No
No
shot.
matter who ends up being the champion of this tournament, Venusaur is clearly coming out on top.
Good. You know what? Good for
Speaking
Venusaur.
of champion, we've made it to the final round. Oak with a Venusaur against the champion with a Venusaur.
Oak's a
Whoever wins
higher.
this matchup
Wait, how
will
is?
be crowned
Oh, okay. I thought it was 244.6 versus 2466. I was like, Oak's
the
higher.
undisputed strongest trainer in all of Pokemon Red and Blue. Oak starts out strong, taking down Pidgeot with
Damn.
his Tauros. But the champion follows it up with, if not his strongest, certainly his most annoying Pokemon.
And he's fucking it up.
Alakazam.
What is he doing?
Alakazam finishes off Tauros,
Oh my
then
God.
spams Recover and a full Restore to hold on as it chips away at Executor's health. With Executor out of the way, the champion's Alakazam is able to easily finish
Jesus.
off Oak's Arcanine and Venusaur. Oak's Gyarados
Just Gyarados versus,
barely
like,
holds
4
on after
Pokemon.
bringing Alakazam to the brink of fainting with Hyper Beam, but Alakazam counters during the attack's recovery time. With both Pokemon in the red, it's down to a battle of speed, and Alakazam manages to finish things off with a Psy Beam. Which means Yes! The irrefutably, scientifically measured, absolute strongest trainer in all of Pokemon Red and Blue is the champion rival with a Venusaur. Congratulations.
Let's go, Venusaur. Congratulations.
on victory.
You deserve
With
it.
that out of the way, there's just one more thing to look at. Like before, we can arrange the trainers based on the order you encounter them in the game to see if there's a correlation between that and ALO. And, sure enough, like before, we can see that the data generally trends upwards, albeit leveling out a bit towards the middle.
That middle was
Naturally, the
actually pretty
correlation
impressive.
is much weaker than last time since level doesn't play a factor, but it's definitely still there.
It's pretty
It's
crazy.
interesting to note that there are a lot more outliers at the bottom of the scale, and that gym leaders don't stand out above the pack quite as much. Okay, before we wrap up, there's a handful of frequently asked questions from the original video which I haven't gotten to yet, so let's cover those quickly. Did you account for DVs and IVs?
I was wondering about that earlier.
DVs and IVs are always the same for enemy trainers, so they had no impact on the tournament. Did you account for the boosts the player gets for obtaining badges? You might not have noticed this in all the battle videos I've shown, but the way I'm running the tournament is by injecting into literally the first battle of the game in Oak's lab. The player has no badges. How did you do the 3D motion graphics?
I'm interested in this.
Combination of Blender, DaVinci Resolve and Fusion,
Oh my god.
Python,
Dude.
and more
Props to this
PowerPoint
guy.
than I'm willing to admit. Where is youngster Joey? Johto. Youngster Joey is in Johto. As you might have noticed, trainers didn't even have names in
Oh,
Generation
man.
1. They did in the remakes though, and there is a youngster named Joey with a Rattata, but they have a different name in the Japanese version, so they're a decidedly different person. Why did this follow-up video take so long to make?
What a dumb fucking question.
Don't talk to me about it. When is Gen 2 coming? Someday. And that's the end of that. Be sure to consider subscribing and following me on Twitter at
Jesus.
Rules if you're interested in seeing
I
whatever.
I don't know why I'm not subscribed to him. But yeah, like he said, go watch more of his videos. He works so fucking hard on them. Yeah, that'll be it. Thanks for watching the stream. This is just something I wanted to do real quick. Let me know if there's kind of streams like this, you know, just a little under an hour stuff, 30-minute stuff